Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This panel now revolves around sustainable hospitality. And with me here is Patrick Omeara, the Deputy Director of the Sustainable Hospitality Alliance. Patrick, would you join me on stage, please? Is
that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
can you
great.
hear me?
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
All right. Before we begin, the Alliance would like to showcase a video. So if the control room could showcase that, please.
There's never been a more important time to take meaningful action to protect the destinations where we live, where we work, and where we travel.
Our future depends on preserving and regenerating the beautiful places in which we operate and leaving a positive, enduring impact on our community.
The reality is, the Earth can't wait, and our vibrant industry has the ability and responsibility to act with urgency to bring to life our collective vision for net positive hospitality.
It is critical that we operate sustainably and grow in the right way.
When we look at these big issues, they require common approaches and aligned approaches in order to take on to these big challenges. We have the power to do that, and we can do that right now.
No one company can shape the future of responsible travel alone.
By coming together, the hospitality industry has the collective strength to tackle the global and regional issues that impact our planet and its people.
The positive impact hospitality has on our communities and environments globally is unmistakable. But we know we have to do more.
We need all hotels, owners, investors, suppliers, and our own associates to advance on their sustainability journeys as well, no matter their starting point.
Our industry needs to come together alongside with the public sector to invest in tomorrow's solutions and bring them to life in our daily operations so we can build a brighter future for all.
It is only by working together that we can really tackle the major challenges of our time and make a true positive change for a better future of the entire planet.
We are confident to set our goals higher and go for a positive contribution rather than only reducing our negative impact.
Going beyond the approach of net zero, going beyond the conversation of sustainability, but actually being contributory to the world's future.
The hospitality industry has the opportunity to take the lead on addressing our most significant global challenges, and we look forward to tackling these critical issues with our fellow members of the Sustainable Hospitality Alliance to achieve a net positive impact.
Our future depends on each of us stepping up to protect our communities, our livelihood, and the environment in which we operate.
I can tell you we're going to make a marker. So, from compensation to contribution, and just do whatever you could for those destinations in which you have so many local community depending on your training, depending on education, depending on giving them a chance in life.
So, let's go ahead and lead by example.
As we work to do our part to achieve net positive hospitality.
We can really make that so needed impact to stop where the world is going, reverse whatever we can still reverse, and really ensure that people, the environment, the globe, and everything else is sustained for very many years in the future.
Our industry deserves this effort. Our community deserves this output. And our planet deserves this as a whole.
Patrick, it's lovely to speak to you again.
Thank you.
Net positive hospitality sounds like a very ambitious goal. How is this feasible in your mind?
Yes, it is an extraordinarily ambitious goal. There is no doubt about that. At the Alliance, we thought we'd up the bar slightly on this one. That we believe very firmly, and it's not just the Alliance team, it's the people you saw in that video who said to us, let's set a really high visionary bar for the industry globally to go beyond net zero, which looks like compliance,
right,
to create an industry that is truly regenerative, truly positive, that gives back more than it takes, minimizes the harm that it does, and increases, multiplies the good that it can do. So we thought that as a vision, that would be a very, very powerful statement for the industry that we could curate, that we could co-own with our members.
Right. For people who don't know, well, you and I had a conversation yesterday, but can you tell us what the Alliance does exactly and why what you do is important?
Yes. We are a collaboration right across the hospitality industry. We're an NGO based in London with a global reach. We're a membership organization. We bring hospitality companies and the companies who support them, their value chain, the investors, the owners, the operators, the lawyers, the architects, the engineers, anybody who can have an influence, whose business is in hospitality. We bring them together to provide the opportunity to help them to solve this sustainability conundrum, to achieve net positive hospitality. So we're a meeting place, we're a convener. We produce practical tools and enablers for the industry to do that. And it's not just ourselves, this comes from the industry itself.
Right.
So very important to align and to convene, and we get people to collaborate. You know, very often companies, of course, compete in the marketplace. And we say, okay, you need to stop that now. Let's collaborate on this one, because no one company can solve this. And no one company needs to solve this. It's for all of us. It's for everybody to do.
Right. It's for everyone to do. And it's a very important conversation to have today. Net zero, net positive, sustainability, and what have you. But why do you feel, or actually with today's modernization and tech, a lot of technology, the world is like a global village.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's still challenging for companies to talk to each other regarding sustainability?
Let me go back on the first question about why this is important.
Yeah.
Before very long, and this is where I think the Kingdom here has got this one absolutely right in so many ways. Before very long, your sustainability strategy will become your business strategy. They will be the same thing.
Right.
There is no doubt about it. Let's look at what sustainability, I get asked very often, what is sustainability? What does it mean? And very often people's minds automatically go to the environmental, the social, and the governance issues related to how business perform. Actually, it goes back further than that. The clue is in the name. Sustainability is your ability to thrive in the long term.
Right.
And how that relates, one of the things that really matters, that influences a company's ability to thrive in the long term now, is how it understands and addresses environmental issues. So that's water, energy, carbon, biodiversity, food waste, plastics, all of those things. It also means, from the S side, and we just heard it from the last panel, how it treats its people. Right through from its investors, its staff, its employees, local communities, local supply chains, all of those kind of things.
So we're talking ESGs.
We're talking more than ESGs. We're talking about the industry's ability to thrive in the long term, in which ESG plays a major and increasing role these days.
Right. What about the sector in itself? I was wondering, how much are the carbon emissions of this specific sector? Because you would think that other sectors would emit more carbon, like the petrochemical sector or other sectors.
Yeah. Well, this is a really interesting question, actually. If you look at what that question, I heard that question being asked of the aviation industry recently, and somebody suggested that aviation is responsible for 6% of the total carbon emissions globally.
That's it.
6%. Well, this is where statistics can cause you problems. So, and you always have to be careful about statistics because, you know, your feet is in the flames, your head is in the freezer, and statistics will tell you, in general, you're comfortable. So you've got to be really careful about statistics. You've got to be careful. So 6%, and you think 6%, okay, so that's not so big a problem. Oh, yes, it is, actually. It doesn't really matter what the figure is. You've got to own the issue. Somebody else suggested aviation is 2%. We haven't tried to count, and it's almost impossible to count what the hospitality industry contributes, if that's the word, causes in terms of carbon emissions. I'm inclined to think of aviation is somewhere between 2 and 6%, and they're all arguing about it, depending on
2 and 6 is there's a large, gap.
There you go. That's the problem. That it's hard to land on a number for hospitality, and then it's hard to land on the bit that you own, and the bit aviation owns, and the bit your service provider owns, Scope 3. and who takes responsibility for that. So it's pretty tough. But I'm inclined to think that globally overall, it's, somewhere in the low singles. But that's not the issue. The issue is you own it, you better fix it.
Right.
And that inherent in that is opportunity, actually. And we see this from today's sessions, the opportunity that the Kingdom here has identified in its Vision 3030 to be a leading hospitality and tourism hub
Yep.
globally. So there is opportunity. A number of years ago, before I joined the Alliance, we did some research with 1,500 business leaders globally. We asked them one question: climate change, threat or opportunity?
Yeah.
84% came back to say opportunity. We asked the same question exactly a year later. 84% of the respondents said this is opportunity. So we need to turn this on its head a little bit about whether this is a problem or whether this is of course it's a problem, but you have to, the innovative amongst us will find a huge opportunity in it. There's no doubt about that.
But do you feel like this problem goes beyond the hospitality sector? Does it expand to other sectors, such as, for example, employees taking their car to drive to the hotel to go to work?
Yeah.
How do you walk us through that? How do you see that?
Look, this is a systemic issue.
Yeah.
If you look at all the touch points in any one day where we generate carbon, or we use things that have a lot of embedded carbon, it happens every minute of every day for all of us. So the industry alone is so interdependent on, as I mentioned, the aviation industry, other the construction and infrastructure industry, engineering, legal, and all of that. Of course, this is a systemic issue, but that doesn't deny us our responsibility and our accountability to hold up our end of the bargain, actually.
So there is an issue.
There is an issue.
Yeah.
Oh, you bet there's an issue. There is an issue. There is a real issue here. And I think that, everybody's trying. We represent 40% of the global hospitality industry now. So I speak to people all the time, and everybody is trying really hard. So everyone's trying. One of the issues is, of course, that there is enormous complexity here, and there's an enormous volume of noise. We know of, in the Alliance, at least 3 dozen different certification bodies, for example. And certification has become increasingly important and has a very valuable place to play. But if I'm an ESG manager or a finance director or a CEO or a board member of a hospitality company, which one of those 36 do I pick? You tend to want to go for the easy and the cheap, don't we all? But it may not get you where you need to go.
Right.
And there's a lot of companies. So the volume of noise and the complexity and the diffuse nature of the business, actually, globally, makes it a little bit more challenging. And I think it's our remit and our responsibility to try to cut through that noise and simplify it in some way.
Right. You were saying you represent around 40%, is that right, of the hospitality sector globally?
By room volume, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you expect for the future of the Sustainable Hospitality Alliance?
The future. Let's start with hope. I'm hoping that today, and I've been around the stands, and I'm busy giving out my business card. Not for my own sake. I hope I run out of business cards today. Not because I'm handing them to people, but because people come and ask for them. Because they want to work with others to collaborate to address the issues of sustainability, and maybe they feel lonely and want to do it with others. That's my immediate hope for me. For the Alliance itself, a change agent, that we achieve on behalf of the industry a truly regenerative, positive, sustainable, and remember our definition of sustainable, industry for the long term. Remember that, and I haven't been in the industry all that long, but for me, the hospitality industry has been really important as an average end user. I love to go to a hotel, I go to relax, I go to learn, I go to celebrate, I go to, with the people I love most, I go to enjoy. So it is integral to how we want to live our lives. And sustainability is not about austerity. We don't want to give up all those lovely things. We just have to find a new way of doing it. So my first hope, is that we achieve our mission. And it's not us, actually. It's the people in this room and the people at this event and loads of other people in the industry who will achieve it. We're just the animateurs. We want to create the conditions that enables the industry to move forward. So that's one. I think for the organization itself, I want us to become a trusted global authority on the issue. And that's one of the reasons we're particularly interested in being here. We have an enormous amount to learn about what's happening here. We do have some partners and some knowledge already. We're very honored that people like Red Sea Global, NEOM, and others are part of our movement, and that's really important to us, and we're having conversations with them and others. But we want to learn all the time. So trusted global authority is another. And that the credit for achieving success goes not to us, but to the industry itself, the people who work really hard. Some of the business leaders here and their teams, you know, there's huge expertise in the likes of Deutsche, Curtin, all these companies who do really well, Radisson and others, Hyatt, Hilton, and many, many others, Mandarin, of course, who are working feverishly hard to make all of this work. So I want us to give them credit.
Right. So that mission you're talking about, do you feel like the pre-execution phase has taken some time? I mean, what is missing to start execution? Because we tend to forget why we're having this conversation. It's because the world is in danger and we need to act fast. So what do you feel is missing?
There's a lovely term called the great urgency of now.
Exactly.
It's already getting very late. That's one point. Let's not forget, though, that the hospitality industry has been working on this for some time and is making great progress. It's not universal, it's not everybody, it's not everywhere, and a lot of the best practice is not yet shared, and that's part of our job to do that when we get companies to collaborate. I think you're right, though, about, you know, I had a very good conversation yesterday evening here with Deutsche Hospitality, and it was very informative for me. And they were talking about just this issue, you know, and the thought struck me, if we want to think in pictures for a moment, let's imagine, so I want people to suspend their imagination here for a little bit. Let's imagine our job is to fatten a calf, right? That's our task. We're spending enormous amount of time and energy and expense and money on building great weighing scales. Weighing a calf won't fatten it, right? So there's a huge amount of effort and investment going into measurement and reporting and you know, and all of this. If we spent half that money on making impact, we might really, really, really get somewhere a lot faster. But the requirement is, because the industry is under so enormous pressure, very often from external sources, to measure your performance. And of course, this is really important. Demonstrate your awareness, demonstrate your progress, and make that progress over time. Demonstrate your performance, make progress over time. And of course, that is an enormous driver. But if you're focusing on just building great weighing scales, instead of getting the job done, there's a problem there, right?
Right.
If you understand the analogy.
Right. So you're talking about the importance of being here in Riyadh.
Yes.
Is the Alliance looking to establish new alliances with hospitality companies in Saudi Arabia or even in the region?
Yeah, absolutely we are. Absolutely we are. Look, we're a learning organization. We know a lot. We have a huge amount more to learn. This actually, globally, is one of the hubs now, where the vision, I was really struck by the 2030 vision that we have come to learn and know a little bit more about. And, you know, our vision and that vision align very, very, very clearly. So certainly we want to create alliances. We would love to establish a permanent presence in the region. We're based in London. We have a couple of satellite offices, but we feel that actually the action is here. The learning opportunities are here. The impact opportunities are here. And we're speaking to people who already know this. They're ahead of us.
Right.
So we want to grasp that and make the most of it. So we intend this year, possibly before October, to establish a permanent presence. We're already talking to some people here, of course. We know we can have companies who our model is a membership and partnership model. People we would love in membership, organizations who know more than we do to partner with us. You know, you can be light and agile if you're aligned with people who know more, who can do more, who have more money, who can reach places that you can't reach, who's leveraged their leadership, their intellectual property, their brand. If you can deploy those on your behalf for the industry, you don't need 200 people, you need 20. Right.
I mean, it sounds to me like there's a very promising future for the Middle East, and hopefully we can get all these plans done in time. Absolutely. Mr. Patrick Omeara, thank you so much for being here with me today, the Deputy Director of the Sustainable Hospitality Alliance. Thank you very much. And thank you, ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen,
very
for
much.
tuning in.
Great pleasure.
Hold on, there may be a few questions in the audience, because this is such a big issue. Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Patrick, your analogy to the weighing scales.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty crucial, though?
Oh,
because one of the problems we have is that we don't know what is greenwashing because we don't have the data.
Sure.
So what are you going to invest in? So if we don't have the data to begin with, then where are we heading? The second question I have for you is there are so many entities out there now, associations, who are all going into this space, one, because they probably think it's also lucrative to be, consultants, advisors, to providing advice now. It's really challenging to know who to go with, isn't it?
Let's take the first one first. The weighing scales really matters, Jonathan, and having a good one. What some of the industry are telling us is we're having to focus only on that rather than making impact. So that's the noise we're picking up. Whether that's to the extent to which that's true or not might remain to be stress tested more than we have done. And I think it is really important. Of course, look, you have to be aware of the issues. Companies have to measure their performance. They have to set strategies for that. They have to set KPIs. They have to measure how they do an MRI scan of what. Of course they do. Absolutely vital. But I hear people talking about the amounts of investment they have to make in that area. I'm raising it as a concern that the industry has shared with us. The extent to which you can debate that, I mean, we could talk about it all day. The second point is the one about noise. In a busy environment where people have a lot of, work to do, there is an enormous amount of competition, noise, offerings in the market that are designed to help you make progress. Whether that is, and we know some of them really well, and we have a huge amount of respect for some of the measurement tools that are out there, for a lot of the measurement tools that are out there. But it is confusing if you're sitting in the middle of this to know which direction to take. So one of the things that has to happen, that we have set as an integral part of our plan, is to harmonize that, to make that simpler, to make that easier to understand, to help companies to make better judgments in where they place their investments, their time and their energy when it comes to those things. Yeah. But it is very noisy. It is very noisy. That's one of the issues. Yeah, that's one of the issues, for sure. Thank you, John.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
Are we done? Thank you all. Thank you. Thanks, Widad.